Bitcoin is crashing all the way to the $92,000, so this is a huge dump for Bitcoin. And in this video I am going to tell you exactly why Bitcoin is dumping and what we can expect for the coming days for Bitcoin. I will also reveal my price target for Bitcoin if we go lower, and I will also have a look at some interesting charts for Bitcoin with you. There's a lot of interesting news and data coming into the market which I will discuss with you. We are seeing a lot of interesting outflows of the Bitcoin and the Ethereum ETFs, so you don't want to miss any of this. Later in the video I will also discuss two altcoins with you, which are Solana and Bittensor TAO. So you want to watch this video all the way to the end? Please slap up the like button because it will help this channel a lot. And let's dive right into the charts. Bitcoin is dumping pretty hard right now in the last 3 days, and we're seeing this upward sloping support line is breaking to the downside, which is very bearish. And this bearish move is already happening, and we can already see this bearish retest. So this previous support has been retested as resistance, and now we can see a rejection from this level. So this bearish retest could have been an interesting place to take in your short trades for Bitcoin, and I've been discussing this scenario in my previous videos with you. And another reason why the Bitcoin market is crashing is because we are seeing a huge decline for the stock market as well. And from the all-time high of the stock market, we are seeing a decline of almost 5%. So this is a very huge and significant crash for the stock market in America. So of course we are still at huge exponential highs, and I think we will still see a continuation of the bullish momentum to the top side. But of course we could also see a little bit of more of a downside in the coming weeks and months. But if that happens, we will also see more crashes for Bitcoin. But however, Bitcoin is still in this huge uptrend if we're looking at the daily time frame, but about that later in the video. And later in the video I will also review my price target for you if we're going lower and where I put my limit orders for Bitcoin. So for now, Bitcoin has broken to this huge support level to the downside, and we're seeing this bearish retest unfolding. And the breakdown target for this formation will be the downside of this formation, and that will be confluent with the $86,000 as we can see here. So for instance, Bitcoin could trade a little bit to the downside, retest this previous breakout target, and from there we could potentially see a bounce to the top side. So this could also be a very interesting place to buy more Bitcoin for the long term. And another huge reason why we're seeing a huge Bitcoin crash is because of the Bitcoin ETFs, and they're seeing a huge outflow yesterday. We saw a total outflow of $671.9 million. And that was all because BlackRock didn't buy anything. But we can see a lot of other Bitcoin ETFs were selling like crazy. So this was having a very bearish effect on the markets. But however, we are still in this upside potential, and we're seeing a huge cumulative inflow for the Bitcoin ETFs. Currently, we are still above the $36 billion of a total cumulative inflow. So this is insane, of course. And we can also see that the Bitcoin ETFs have bought $6.7 billion in Bitcoin in 15 consecutive days of inflow. So this is insane, of course. And we can see that institutions are buying, and we are now seeing that people are selling. And that is all because, they're panicking because Jerome Powell said some interesting stuff about Bitcoin and also about the stock market. So we are seeing institutions are buying, and we can also see that some countries are buying. So I think you want to be on the right side of history, and you want to own Bitcoin before the huge pumps unfold. And if we have a look at the Ethereum ETFs, we can see that in the first time of 15 days, we saw a negative day for the Ethereum ETFs, and we saw a total outflow of $60.5 million. And that was all because Grayscale was selling a lot. So this was having a little bit of a bearish effect on the price of Ethereum. And we can also see that the Ethereum ETF is still not very good, of course. But we can now see a total cumulative inflow of $2.4 billion. So eventually we are picking up steam. And let's see if we can eventually create more bullish upside momentum and continue this bullish streak for the Ethereum ETFs. And if we have another look at the 4-hour time frame, we can see that Bitcoin is coming back to this huge horizontal support area, and we're already seeing a bounce from this level. And this was my first interesting level, which I was telling you about in my previous video. So this is an interesting level, and I bought more Bitcoin at this green box of accumulation. And as I'm saying, we're already seeing a little bit of a bounce from it, because in the past we can see multiple touch points here as resistance. Finally we broke with bullish, then we saw a bullish retest, and we saw another support retest. So currently we are back at this support level. So let's see if Bitcoin can separate itself from this support level again. But of course there's also a negative scenario possible, that we're going to see a bearish retest, that we're going to break below the support area, and that we're going to retest it as resistance. And if we do so, I'm going to enter the market in a short at this bearish retest, and then I'm going to enter the market in a short, as I was saying, and then we have to aim for lower prices. But of course, we are now seeing a bounce through from this level, so it's looking a little bit more strong for now for Bitcoin. So let's see if we can see a separation from this level, and eventually we want to see that Bitcoin is going to continue the bullish momentum to the top side. And earlier in my videos I stated that I was going to look at my price targets, and at these price targets I'm going to buy more Bitcoin. So if Bitcoin falls below these white lines, I'm going to buy Bitcoin every time we come at this line. So these are my rough limit buy orders, and as I was saying in my earlier videos and in my Telegram group, I was having my first buy order at this level around the $92,500. So if Bitcoin is coming lower, I will just buy more for the long term. And we can see here, these are the very interesting price levels, because in the past we can see much price interaction at these levels. So for instance, if Bitcoin is coming to a lower level, every time I'm going to buy more Bitcoin. So in the end, I think Bitcoin will see prices above the $100,000 again. So from these levels, you could make a very interesting gain. So let's see if Bitcoin is coming to lower levels, and if we do so, you will just want to have your buy orders ready. My buy orders are set, and of course these buy orders are not financial advice. Please don't copy me just blindly. Do your own due diligence and do your own technical analysis. But for me, these are my buy orders, so every time we go a little bit lower, I'm going to buy more Bitcoin. And while everyone is panicking about a little Bitcoin dip of almost 10%, we can see that Mara, another company, bought $1.5 billion in Bitcoin. We can see that BlackRock bought for $359 million on Wednesday. And also Hut 8 Group bought $100 million in Bitcoin. So Saylor is probably hitting the market for another $3 billion to buy more in Bitcoin. And especially when Bitcoin is dumping, I think he just wants to buy more Bitcoin, because he is just DCAing into the market. And every time Bitcoin dips, he's going to buy a lot more. And also we had El Salvador secure another loan of the IMF for $3.3 billion. So El Salvador is saying it will continue buying Bitcoin, and possibly they are going to accelerate it at pace. And that is what the Bitcoin office director Stacy Herbert said. So if El Salvador is going to accelerate the pace of buying more Bitcoin, we will most likely see other countries also picking up this trend, and they will follow their example. And also a lot of other huge companies, just like Michael Saylor and with his MicroStrategy, are going to buy more Bitcoin. And that is exactly what we want to see for the Bitcoin price, of course. And we can see that retail is selling because they are also very emotional. And these are the ones that are buying the top, and they are now selling for a loss. And you don't want to be at that side of the trade for Bitcoin. So as I'm always saying, please don't sell when the markets are red, because you want to be selling when the markets are green. And you also don't want to buy when the markets are green, because you want to buy when the markets are red. And currently we are in the red, so you want to buy. And if we zoom out to the daily time frame, I've been discussing this huge uptrend for you in my latest videos with you. We can see higher highs and higher lows unfolding. Bitcoin created this all-time high around $180,000. We can now see a little bit of a decline for 3 consecutive red days. And we can also see that this lower low is getting respected. So if Bitcoin is going to hold this higher low play, we are possibly going to see a continuation of the bullish momentum. So if Bitcoin is coming below this previous low, we are going to see a lower low, and that will be a little bit of a bearish trend for Bitcoin, and that could start the bearish momentum to the downside, and that is not what we want to see. We want to see that Bitcoin is still in this huge uptrend, and that we're going to continue the bullish momentum to the top side. So as I was saying, if Bitcoin can create this higher low play from this previous low, we are still in this uptrend, and we will most likely see a continuation to the top side. Last week and in my previous videos, I've been discussing this huge bearish divergence for Bitcoin on the weekly time frame. As we can see on the chart, a higher high is unfolding, but on the RSI we can see a lower high unfolding, and this indicated that the buying pressure is cooling off a little bit, and that the RSI most likely will see a correction to the downside, and also for the price we will see the same. So for now, this bearish divergence is playing out like clockwork, and I've been warning you about this potential bearish divergence, and that we could see a little bit of a correction after this all-time high was made at the $180,000. So we are now possibly going to make a higher low play, and on the weekly time frame there's nothing to worry about, because if Bitcoin is going to create a higher low play, you want to be entering the market at this higher low, and from there we can see a correction of the RSI as well. but from there we will possibly see a bullish divergence unfold, but I will monitor that with you in my coming videos in the coming weeks. So for now, this bearish divergence is playing out just like I said, and just like I've been warning you about in my previous video, so you could have been warned about this 10% dip for Bitcoin. And the first interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Solana. We can see in the last months that Solana was in this huge consolidation formation. We finally broke bullish, and this was looking very interesting to see. And if we zoom out to the weekly time frame, we can see that Solana created a new all-time high, but in relation to the previous all-time high, it was not very significant. So we are now seeing a bullish retest because we broke out of this huge consolidation formation. And in my latest videos, I said that we could possibly see a bullish retest for Solana as well, that we're going to retest this previous resistance as support. And that is now exactly what we did. So at this bullish retest, I was buying more Solana, so my order got hit today, and it was perfectly hit, as we can see here. And I was also been discussing this with you in my latest video where I discussed Solana with you. So congratulations if you took this trade together with me, because we are now already seeing a bounce on the daily chart, and we are already seeing a bounce from this level for almost 6%. So this is an insane trade for Solana to make, and especially when you're leverage trading. So of course there's also a bearish scenario possible, that we're going to see a break below the support area and that we're coming inside of this formation again, and eventually we will see a breakout to either the top side or the downside. But of course we all think that Solana is going to create a new all-time high in the coming weeks or maybe months, and eventually we will also break this white line to the top side. Then we have to wait for a retest of the resistance to turn it into support, and if we're going to break above it, I will monitor you through this trade, and of course at this bullish retest I will enter the market for Solana in a long and then aim for higher targets. So let me know in the comments if you still hold Solana in your portfolio and what your thoughts about Solana are in the future. And the next interesting altcoin I want to have a look at is Bittensor TAO. We can see from these lows at the bear market, I was monitoring TAO with you on my videos and on my socials, and at these lows I was buying more every time we touched this green box of accumulation on the lower side. So the support was holding strong, and finally the bull market started for TAO, and now we are seeing this construction unfolding. But every time we come a little bit lower, I'm also going to buy more TAO for the long term. And at this huge top side resistance, I was selling my Bittensor because I was buying from these lows. And from these lower lows at the bear market lows, at this green box of accumulation, you could have already made a 236% increase. So this was also a very significant trade to make. And as we can see here in the last days, we are now breaking below support levels. So every time we break below this level, I'm going to buy more TAO for the long term, as I was saying to you. So also today, my order got hit for TAO and I bought more at this place. So, but for instance, if TAO is coming to the next big support, I'm also going to buy in more TAO at this level. And then for the long term, I think that eventually we will see an uptrend for TAO unfold, and that we will most likely see new all-time highs, and that we have to break this huge resistance area to the top side, and that we could possibly go to the $1,000 in the coming weeks or months. And also let me know in the comments if you hold Bittensor TAO in your portfolio, and what do you think about the price prediction of 2025 for this project. So for now, Bitcoin is looking a little bit ugly in the last few days, but of course there's also still a scenario that we're going to see a huge bounce from this level and eventually create more topside, because every time in a bull market we also see corrections unfold, so this is nothing to worry about. And when these red candles are showing on the chart, you want to be looking for entries and not panicking about some losses. Because also when we are in a bullish uptrend, you also want to be looking for an exit strategy, and you also want to be selling a little bit to take in your profits. So eventually you want to have some cash on the sidelines, as I'm always saying. And then if you're going to see a dump just like today, you can buy more Bitcoin or just another coin you want to be buying for a cheaper price. And if you want to see more free content from me, just join my Telegram group for free. Just click the link in the description under this video and you can join it for free. So please leave a like if you think the video was useful, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.